This is over. This may sound strange. Just a few months ago, Nvidia was completely banned from selling AI chipsets to China. But now, not only has the US government reversed this decision, Nvidia is secretly building a new AI chipset specifically designed for sales in China. And this is what is catching much attention. This new AI chipset is more powerful than anything Nvidia has been selling to China in recent time. So, the big question remains, will the US government allow this to happen? Or they will step in and stop Nvidia from selling these advanced chipsets to China once again? And what does China really stand to gain from the sale of these advanced chipsets? And is China really hoping the US government lifts the sanctions on advanced chipsets export to China? Now, let's dive deeper into this. According to multiple sources, Nvidia is developing a next-generational AI chipset for sales in the Chinese market called the B30A chipset. This chipset outperforms the current H20 chipset and is built on Nvidia's latest Blackwell architecture. What this means is that this new chipset promises high bandwidth memory and faster data transfer, making it an ideal chipset for AI training and advanced data center applications. Now, this new chip is built on one solid piece of silicon, making it simpler and cheaper to produce. It is expected to have about half the performance of Nvidia's top-tier chipset, which is the B300 chipset, which is normally used to accelerate large language model inference training. Now, comparing this with the Ascend chipsets made by Huawei, the B30A chipsets being built on a single piece of silicon makes this chipset more efficient and easier to manage. But the only issue has to do with the cost. Meanwhile, the Ascend chipsets made by Huawei is a combination of two old chipsets into one package. This boosts the overall chip performance closer to Nvidia's level, but it is a bit bulkier and uses more energy. And on the other side of things, it is less expensive compared to Nvidia. So, why is this such a big deal? China makes up about 13% of Nvidia's global revenue. Losing this market doesn't just hurt sales, it risks pushing long-term clients of Nvidia into the arms of Huawei and other domestic chip makers in China. Already, Chinese tech giants such as Tencent and Alibaba are shifting orders from Nvidia to Huawei. So it is not too surprising to see Nvidia making every attempt to maintain their market share in China. But here is where things get a bit interesting. The US government is concerned that giving China access to advanced AI chipsets might allow China to close the gap or even overtake the US in critical technologies such as military AI, surveillance, and cybersecurity. At the same time, keeping Nvidia totally out of the Chinese market creates a vacuum for Chinese tech giants such as Huawei and other chip makers to occupy. And per long-term projections made based on analysis of current market trends, investments, and government initiatives around the world, China and the US are expected to remain the top two markets where demand for AI chipsets remains extremely high. So it makes a lot of sense for Nvidia to keep a level of presence in the Chinese market, taking a look at how the future of AI chipsets is looking. So, when exactly are we seeing these new chipsets released in China? Now, per reports, Nvidia intends to begin shipping the prototype of these chipsets to their Chinese clients in the coming months. But the biggest question remains on the table. Will the US government allow Nvidia to export these chipsets to China? For now, things look unclear, even though other reports are pointing out that this chipset does not violate the current US sanctions leveled against China. But we wait to see how these things unfold. But one thing is clear, China has already made up their mind not to rely on chipsets made by US tech firms, as they are looking forward to shift their focus to local Chinese chip makers, even if these Chinese chip makers are not at the same level of Nvidia. So, what is your take on this? Do you think these chipsets will be exported to China? Or you think the US government will interfere and stop Nvidia from selling it to China? And do you think China should even rely on chipsets from the US? Or you think they should focus internally Kindly let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And if you find this content informative, kindly don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss my next update. See you in the next one. I'm out.